students, I'm Dr. Chakraborty. Now today I'm going to say something about the formation of a compound, of a chemical compound, how a molecule is formed. Now there are two types of molecules. Number one, where the molecule is formed by the combination of two or more atoms of the same elements, and the other is the molecule is formed where the atoms are of different elements. Now how the atoms are combined to form the molecule, the mechanism behind it, now I am going to explain it. First of all, we have to write the elements from atomic number 1 to atomic number 20 according to their increasing atomic number. Now there are hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium and calcium. They are written in accordance with their increasing atomic number. Now here you can see there are some elements like helium, neon, argon. These elements are called inert elements because they cannot or they do not take part in any chemical reaction. Now why they do so? If you write their electronic configuration, now helium has only 2 electrons and its electronic configuration is just 1s2. Electronic configuration of neon is, its atomic number is 10, and so its electronic configuration is 1s2, then 2s2, then 2p6. And if you write the electronic configuration, the outermost electronic configuration of argon, of the outermost shell, then it is, you will find 3s2, 3p6. Now here in helium, neon, argon, the outermost shell is fully occupied by the electrons. So there is no need of any extra electrons if it loses its electron. So due to its field electronic configuration, they get some extra stability. The reason behind their stability, why they do not take part in any chemical reaction, is that they have a complete outermost shell. So the other elements have not their field outermost shell. To fill up their outermost shell, either they accept electron or they release electrons from their outermost shell. The outermost shell is called the valence shell, and the electrons present in the outermost shell are called valence electrons, and the reason behind their chemical reaction of the element is the presence of their electrons in the outermost shell. Either they are less occupied, either they have lesser electrons in their outermost shell, or they will try to accept electrons from others to make their outermost shell fully occupied. Now, I have told you earlier that there are two types of molecules. Number one, where the molecule is formed by the combination of same atoms, that is hydrogen. Now hydrogen is formed by the combination of 2 hydrogen atoms. So 2 hydrogen atoms are combined to form a hydrogen molecule. Similarly, if we add sodium to chlorine, then sodium chloride molecule is also formed. Now how this happens? Here you can see that helium, neon, argon, they are all inert elements. Inert elements means they do not take part in any chemical reaction, that is they are highly stable. Now everyone has the tendency to go to this stability, go to its unstable condition. Now the other elements, they have also the tendency to get the stability. Now how can they do so? Now if lithium is next to helium, helium has the electronic configuration of 1s2, and lithium will have the electronic configuration of 1s2 and 2s1. Now if lithium loses the electrons from its outermost 2s orbital, then it will gain the electronic configuration 1s2 just like of helium, and then it will give the stability just like a helium. So lithium will have the tendency to lose electrons and form a like plus ion. Now in atom, the number of electrons and number of protons are same. When one atom loses one electron, it gets a positive charge, and when an atom accepts electron, it gets a negative charge. Now from between sodium and chlorine, sodium has atomic number 11 and its nearest inert element is neon. So sodium will have the tendency to have the electronic configuration of neon. Now neon has electronic configuration of 1s2, 2s2 and 2p6, and sodium has the electronic configuration, as it has 11 electrons, so it has electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 and 3s1. Now if sodium loses that electron present in its outermost shell, then it will have the same electronic configuration as neon. So sodium has the tendency to loses one electron. So sodium will lose one electron to form Na plus ion. Now sodium has same number of protons and electrons. 11 protons are there in its nucleus and 11 electrons are present in its electronic shells. Now when sodium loses one electron, still 11 protons are there, but one electron is short. So 11 electrons and 10 electrons, so there is excess positive charge is present. So Na plus ion is formed. Now in chlorine has the atomic number 17 and its nearest inert element is argon. Now to get the electronic configuration, to get the stability of argon, it has to get the electronic configuration of argon. Now argon has the electronic configuration, outermost shell electronic configuration 3s2, 56, and for chlorine, since it is 17 electrons, it has 17 electrons, so electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, then 3s2, then 3p5. Now one electron is short from its nearest inert element argon. Now if chlorine accepts one electron, then it will have the same electronic configuration as of argon, so it will have the same stability that of argon. So chlorine will have the tendency to accept electron. Now if we add sodium and chlorine, sodium will lose one electron to form the stable Na plus ion, and that electron will be accepted by chlorine to form Cl minus ion, and this is how both sodium and chlorine get stable electronic configuration by forming Na plus and Cl minus ion respectively. Now, so Na and Cl plus electron minus electrons can replace each other, forms Na plus and Cl minus. Now we know that opposite charges attract each other, so sodium Na plus and Cl minus ion will attract each other to form a NaCl molecule. So NaCl molecule is formed by the interaction between two oppositely charged ions, by the attraction of two oppositely charged ions. So that is why this molecule is called ionic compound. This compound is called ionic compound, and the valency and the mechanism, the valency or the process is called ionic, the bonding is called ionic bonding. So sodium and chlorine forms an ionic compound. Now what about hydrogen? Both the hydrogen atoms have the electronic configuration of just 1s1. Now it is one electron short from its nearest inert element helium. So when two hydrogen atoms combine, actually what happens, both the hydrogen have only one electron, and both the hydrogen atom have the tendency to accept electron to get the electronic configuration of its nearest inert element helium. How can they do so? They actually pair those two electrons to form an electron pair, and that electron pair is equally shared by the two hydrogen atoms, and that is how both hydrogen atoms get the electronic configuration of helium, and that is why both the hydrogen atom become stable. Now a covalent bond is formed between two hydrogen atoms, and this hydrogen molecule is formed by sharing of electrons. So this process or this bonding, this type of bonding is called a covalent bonding, or the compound is called a covalent compound, and the bonding is called a covalent bond. And this is ionic bond. Now, how can one say when two atoms are combined to form a molecule whether it is a covalent compound or an ionic compound? How can we say? Actually, when two atoms are mixed, where one atom has the tendency to give up electrons and the other one has the tendency to accept electron, then must be there a cation and anion will be formed, and the compound will be an ionic compound. And when two atoms are combined to form the molecule where both the atoms have the tendency to accept electrons, then neither will give up electrons, and electrons will be shared between those two atoms, and certainly a covalent compound, a covalent molecule will be formed. So when a metal, actually the atoms or the elements which have the tendency to lose electrons is called a metal, and the element which has the tendency to accept electron is called a non-metal. So when a metal is combined with a non-metal, certainly an ionic compound will be formed. And when two non-metals or the atoms of two non-metals are combined to form a molecule, a covalent compound is formed, because both the non-metals have the tendency to accept electrons, and to get the stability of their nearest inert element, they actually share their outermost electrons.